Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Bo again. So, today we are going to talk about the Supreme Court of the United States and electoral politics and how they go together. They're not separate from each other because I got a message and I feel like this might be something that is worth mentioning at this point because there's a lot of people who feel like it's hopeless. Okay, so here's the message. I really feel for the person who doesn't like electoral politics in that message. Not to be a doomer, but what does electoral politics matter at this point? If the Supreme Court is just going to disregard the Constitution and legislate from the bench, electoral politics means nothing. Got you. I mean, I understand what you're saying. That's not an invalid feeling right there. But you have to remember what one of the products of electoral politics is, and that's picking Supreme Court justices. It's worth remembering that the average retirement age for a Supreme Court justice is 80, I think. I think it's 80 years old. Thomas, one of the further right justices, he's 75. He's 75. And Alito, another right-winger, is 73. They're the two oldest. They're probably going to be the next two to retire. And given the fact that Thomas is becoming more and more embattled, I mean, he might even go before the average retirement age. He might retire early. Would make sense, right? It's what a lot of political figures do when they end up in a position where they are being scrutinized. They decide it isn't worth it and they go home and fish. 75, Thomas, I think he'll hit 80 before the end of the next presidential term. So it's very possible that he retires during that period, which means that president would, have a little bit to do with that. So would the Senate. Same thing with Alito. Less likely, but still within the realm of possibility, because that's the average retirement age, meaning some of them retire before then. I know for those people who are active with other forms of civic engagement, electoral politics is horrible. And I know that there's a lot of philosophies where it's literally something you don't do because you are giving consent to be governed. I get it. I understand the philosophies. But you can't separate what the Supreme Court does from electoral politics. Understand, the Supreme Court is chosen by electoral politics. Not directly, you don't get to vote on them. But your vote, it has something to do with who ends up on that bench. And if Thomas and Alito were to retire anytime soon, then, then it would go to 5-4, right? The other way. Which might help a whole lot of people. A whole lot of people those who prioritize other forms of civic engagement probably care a whole lot about. I understand the feeling, because there have been some rulings that I don't agree with coming off the bench recently. I understand it, believe me, but you can't separate the two. You can't say that electoral politics has nothing to do with the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court, the makeup of the court, is a product of electoral politics. And right now, the two eldest justices are members of the bloc that are making the decisions most people watching this channel really disagree with. It's worth remembering that. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.